In this video, I'm going to explore the cross-reference feature and its components. Hi, I am Micah Studeman. Here's a quick preview. Finding all references shows where a single variable is being used within the program. This bypasses running a full cross-reference and filtering the output to find the selected variable. Tracing and retracing shows what has been selected as you look through the program code. This can be enabled in the Options menu under the Toolbar tab. Refactoring changes the variable name throughout the code, without affecting other variables that may share a similar name. The Global Find Replace tool finds and replaces text, not just the variable name. Removing unused variables allows the programmer to clean up the code when finished with programming the application. This also reduces the size of the source program if memory is a concern. Now let's look at this in a little more detail. Let's do a quick refresher on what the cross-reference function is. Cross-reference shows where variables are used within the project code. The cross-reference list can be built using the selection under the Build menu. It is useful for troubleshooting variable connections between POUs. This allows the programmer to verify that they have made the correct variables global versus local. This feature also helps a new programmer understand where variables are being used within the project. When working with bigger projects, the cross-reference list may take longer to populate. One way to get around building a cross-reference for the entire project is to use the Find All Reference feature, which is found by right-clicking on a variable. When programming, new variable references are constantly created within the project, and it could be time-consuming to create a new cross-reference list every time the programmer wants to see where a single variable is being used. Find All References builds a cross-reference for only the selected variable. This is why the Find All References feature is so useful. Another navigation tool available is the Trace and Retrace feature, which can be enabled under the Options menu in the Toolbar tab by selecting Navigation. This feature allows the user to track where they have been throughout the program. For instance, I can go into different POUs and click on either function blocks or outputs. I go in here, grab this variable, and now I want to retrace my steps. I can use the Navigate Backwards feature to see what I have previously selected. The Navigate Forwards button allows me to get back to where I was. This allows the user to keep track of where they have been within the project. When programming, there are times when you, as the programmer, want to change a variable name. Depending on where the variable is used within the project, it can be quite intensive to find and replace the variable name. You could use the Global Find and Replace function under the Edit menu to change the name, but it has the potential to change other variable names within the project that you don't want changed. This is where the Refactor function comes in handy. Refactoring a variable searches the project for where that variable is used and replaces it with the updated name. Just find the variable in one of the variable sheets, and by right-clicking on it, you can select Refactor and rename the variable. As you can see here, the name has been updated throughout the entire project. Refactoring a variable can be done with both global and local variables. One part of the cross-reference feature that sometimes gets overlooked is the Remove Unused Variables and FB Instances selection. When working on a project, there are times that variables are created and later abandoned because a different variable needs to be used, or a variable was created by accident. This can also happen with function blocks. No harm is caused, but the compiler flags these variables and function block instances as unused in the Warnings tab. So if you don't like to see these warnings, you can use the Remove Unused Variables and Instances selection to clean up the project. Before selecting OK, the user can select what variables they would like to remove. Normally, you would always want to leave the Don't Remove Local Variables unchecked, because that clears up the compiler warnings. Removing the global variables just removes unused global variables. Global variables are not shown as warnings in the compiler. For I/O variables, you would not remove them unless you are done programming and are limited on space in the controller for the project. Thanks for watching this video. Go to yaskawa.com/IECSW to download the latest version of MotionWorks IEC 3 and try out these features yourself with a 30-day demo.